Is Eyes Wide Shut actually based on a real secret society tied to the global elite?
The movie was recut and changed after his death.
Those who engage in evil must tell you that they are engaging in evil.
It wasn't just a movie, it was a warning. This is all very real.
Nobody's doing anything about it. We know what's happening.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
In 1999, one of Stanley Kubrick's most enigmatic films premiered, Eyes Wide Shut, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. But even more mysterious than the film itself was the director's sudden death just days before its release. Kidman received a disturbing phone call from Kubrick shortly before he passed. In an interview with National Enquirer, she said that on March 6th, just one day before his death, Kubrick called her. He sounded nervous, and when she asked what was going on, he said, "They're going to poison all of us so fast we won't even have time to react." Kidman thought he was being dramatic, and didn't think much of it at the time. Kidman's revelation only added to the rumors that had already been circulating during the post-production of Eyes Wide Shut that Kubrick had been eliminated. There are, after all, ways to trigger a heart attack without leaving any evidence. But the real question is, who would have wanted him dead, and why? For conspiracy theorists, Eyes Wide Shut became something else entirely, a secret waiting to be uncovered. Was Kubrick's death part of a cover-up? Did he avoid filming in New York because someone had warned him? And is Eyes Wide Shut actually based on a real secret society tied to the global elite?
Surely they wouldn't have let him make the film.
They didn't, bro. They took him out and changed the edit.
I think when people are looking for the missing piece of the puzzle that is Eyes Wide Shut, we know that with a big message like this, if he actually was trying to talk about how the rich will systematically abuse people, he would know that it still has to get past the studio, producers, and there's a lot of eyes on it. And I think Kubrick was a smart enough person to know that he would have to obscure and hide that message, just as people have been doing for thousands of years, like the modern version of Nostradamus' writings. But if he really was trying to make a film about how these people systematically abuse, well, it's very possible that the people he had to show the film to didn't want the message to get out. I don't think he would have just put it very plainly in the film, and that's why we have all these scattered breadcrumbs throughout the film. If at any point he was too on the nose about it, then the studio would have just gutted that message. Unfortunately, this is a reality of our world that Kubrick was trying to point out. These things do happen, and they've been happening for a long time, and I think that Kubrick was trying to tell us that. And I personally find it highly disturbing that he passed away after the movie was filmed and he had showed the first screening, but before the final cut.
Why would they greenlight the film and then take him out as soon as he finishes it?
Because he made it too real, bro. It was meant to be like the book.
Eyes Wide Shut is based off a book called Traumnovella, meaning dream story. It was written in 1926 by Arthur Schnitzler, and he moved in the same elite intellectual circles as Sigmund Freud. That's really important because the entire circle was obsessed with dreams, guilt, desire, and the hidden mechanics of human behavior. So the movie and the book have the same core story. A married doctor, a confession that shatters his ego, a long night drifting through temptation and humiliation, a secret elite gathering, a masked woman who warns him and sacrifices herself, and the question of whether it was all real or just a dream. Kubrick didn't really change the plots, he changed the power. In the book, it's early 1900s Vienna aristocrats. In the movie, it's modern, untouchable global elites. In the book, the danger is vague, hazy. It was felt rather than seen. In the film, it's explicit. Surveillance, warnings, consequences. Sex isn't the point. Control is.
The story was pretty much the same.
Nah, bro. Kubrick made it about kids.
I've seen many horror movies. I've seen some very creepy and disturbing scenes, but no scene has evoked a strange level of dread in me that the masked party scene has, while still maintaining this dreamlike, hazy quality to it. There are just so many different interpretations you can ponder that it causes your mind to endlessly question and maybe even potentially overanalyze the details.
Those were not just ordinary people there. If I told you their names, I'm not going to tell you their names, but if I did, I don't think you'd sleep so well.
The entire sequence is like 25 minutes long, but pacing-wise, it feels like it's just 3 minutes, because it so perfectly envelops the viewer into Bill's shoes that you just lose track of time with how fucking weird and mythical it is.
Please, come forward.
Its ambience, its vibe, and its setting is like a horror movie. There are so many subtle details that you completely miss because you are so caught up in the visuals and the way the scene is actually presented to you. The man in the red cloak doing this weird ritual with a staff and a smoking bowl and a chain. The setting itself, the mid-1800s Victorian architecture is just dazzling, but creepy at the same time.
They filmed it in a Rothschild's mansion, bro.
Why would they let him do that?
They don't own it anymore, bro.
Over time, people started linking Eyes Wide Shut to the couple formed by Baron Guy de Rothschild and Baroness Marie Helene de Rothschild, members of a powerful European dynasty. On December 12, 1972, they hosted a party at the Château de Ferrières, just outside Paris. They invited European aristocrats and stars like Audrey Hepburn. Everyone had to wear formal clothes and strange accessories designed by Salvador Dali. The event was meant to be private, but some photos got out and showed a very bizarre setting. Fancy rooms filled with people wearing animal masks and cages on their heads. The centerpieces were stuffed turtles and broken baby dolls. Dinner was served on top of a naked mannequin, lying on a table covered in roses. And one last thing, the outside of the chateau was lit in red. The Rothschild party set off a wave of theories. The most popular said the red lights pointed to satanic rituals. The dolls, according to some, symbolized human sacrifices. But one thing was certain, it showed the strange and possibly dark habits of the powerful elite. But it wasn't just the party that got people's attention. The ritual scene in the movie was filmed at Mentmore Towers, an English mansion also known as the Mentmore. And guess who used to own it? That's right, it was part of the Rothschild estate until 1977.
Yeah, it was clearly about the Rothschilds.
Told you, bro. He was trying to expose everyone.
The masked attendees. If you actually stop and analyze the masks themselves, each one is unique and tells its own story, which is just very eerie, especially considering each one of these masks hides an elite or famous wealthy individual, which is clearly fiction and not ever representative of anything that has happened in real life ever. A lot of the masks are Venetian in nature. This mask looks like a plague doctor, which, the plague hit Venice pretty hard back in the 1300s. There's a Donald Trump mask. This mask, all the way back there, looks like George Soros. There's even an Illuminati mask. Bill outs himself partly because he chooses the mask of a commoner, the Volto mask, which accentuates the eyes, whereas the other masked members have the eyes distorted or covered completely. Thematically, the masks themselves are important to the film's narrative and have symbolic purpose. It's all about cover-ups, and it's about the lies we tell to each other.
It's a bit of a stretch saying the masks look like certain people.
Come on, bro. Kubrick was right.
Eyes Wide Shut wasn't just a movie, it was a warning. This is all very real. When Stanley Kubrick made this film, he was trying to let us know that there are these elite groups that systematically abuse people. And for a long time, people would gaslight you and try to make you feel like you were insane for believing this was happening. But now we know better. They do have these lavish costume events, and that's why they're praying that you forget about these files, about this island and all of the ones like it. This is what the movie was about. How they're ultra wealthy who are going around and doing whatever they want to do, which is, like we see in the film, trafficking and abusing people. And one of the reasons they were able to get away with this for so long is because they could hide their identities and their connection to this. This is why in the movie they wear masks. It's all about hiding their identities because they fear the repercussions of the things that they're doing. And this is happening on a scale that people could not fathom. Millions of documents just from one ring. It's in politics, in the entertainment industry, from musicians to Hollywood to the fashion industry. This is happening in almost all industries. These wealthy people have risen up to a position so that they can do the depraved, disgusting, horrible things they want to people, whether it be men, women, or children. And this is happening all around the world. This is what Stanley Kubrick was trying to tell everybody. He was trying to warn us about the monsters who are pulling the strings.
Yeah, but no one listened.
People don't want to believe it's real, right?
Like all of Kubrick's films, the devil is in the details, and it's always what's behind the curtain that you can't see, which is always more interesting than what you can. The ringleader in the red cloak has this mocking, happy manner about him.
Get undressed, yes? You will kindly remove your mask. That's so unfortunate.
It's just so strange and weird. The thing about Kubrick is that almost everything you see in the frame or the background is intentional, more so than other directors. This is not the New York you are familiar with because it's not. Every exterior sequence in the city was shot on a soundstage in England, meaning that everything down to the buildings, the posters, the trash on the ground, the cars parked on the street, the extras are all intentionally placed there to look like that, for you to see, because that is the intention. Eyes Wide Shut is a film where every frame is a painting, every character a warning, and every scene a masterclass in atmosphere and tension.
It's crazy they built all those city scenes just for the film.
It's because he packed it with symbolism, bro.
Fans of the film and of conspiracy theories notice strange and symbolic elements, often tied to secret groups. One of the most talked about is the mirror, which shows up as early as the poster. Some believe it works like a portal to dark places, where people trade their souls for fame and fortune. Another recurring symbol is the pentagram, often associated with Satanism. The film also features 8-pointed stars, known as Stars of Ishtar, named after the Mesopotamian goddess of war, love, and fertility. You can spot them when Bill arrives at the secret ceremony, and even earlier in the decorations at Ziegler's Christmas party. A third symbol is the all-seeing eye. You can spot it right on the poster. Alice has one eye open, which some say represents that same eye. Throughout the film, there are moments where she seems to know everything that's going on, including Bill's darkest discoveries. There's also the eye in the pyramid on the US dollar bill, often seen as a symbol of power and transcendence. And money itself plays a key role in the story, used by Bill, and especially by those who hold even more power than he does. A fourth recurring symbol is the rainbow, often seen as a shift from the real world into a dreamlike one. You can see that in Bill's journey. Early on, two women tell him they'll take him to what's at the end of the rainbow. Later, he walks into a costume shop called Rainbow, where the owner is seen forcing his own daughter into work. This suggests that Bill leaves behind a clean, colorful world and enters one full of darkness and disturbing corruption.
I forgot about that scene. He just leaves and don't even report it.
He was setting it up for the rest of the film, right?
The Rainbow fashion store is Bill's last stop before the mansion, and Kubrick knows it. Bill doesn't just buy a cloak and a mask. He sells the last piece of his conscience. That fluorescent store is the liminal space between the real world and the dream world. The colors of the rainbow blurring moral boundaries. Pleasure, power, even innocence all bleeding together. When he walks into the shop, he's still a doctor, he's still a husband, a man pretending he's still in control. And when he walks out, he's been initiated. What happens inside, the young girl, the father's silence, the quiet exchange for money, that's the rehearsal for the orgy itself. It's a smaller version of the same system, sin disguised as sophistication. So by the time he reaches Somerton, Bill's already crossed over. The mansion's not the beginning of the dream, the rainbow was. So in Eyes Wide Shut, Kubrick is showing that the costume shop is the doorway to the underworld. You don't go beyond the rainbow for fantasy. You go there to lose yourself.
That scene was grim. If they kept that in, why would they cut other scenes about kids?
They changed the plot, bro. They had to hand over their daughter.
Pulled my script from Eyes Wide Shut. I had a script that was from set, and I was reading it over the weekend, and I saw that it has this, I mean, I've known this for a long time, but I started really thinking about it over the weekend. It's missing a narration. It's missing a third-person narration that was originally in the movie. That's because the movie was recut and changed after his death. And they will deny it. But as a student of Kubrick, I'm watching the movie and I'm like, well, Kubrick wouldn't do that. Kubrick wouldn't do that either. Kubrick would have trimmed this scene.
I didn't know they recut it after his death.
Okay, so apparently...
I think they finished it.
You sure that ain't what happened? They just finished the film.
Nah, bro. Fuck Tarantino. He's one of them.
Hey, you happy when Roman Polanski won the Oscar?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
What's so great about being the recipient of Hollywood's highest honor?
I don't consider him a rapist.
Right, that's the one. How can you defend this director who the 13-year-old?
He didn't rape 13-year-olds. It was statutory.
Yeah,
all right.
All right.
Well,
that's not quite the same thing. He had sex with a minor. All right.
That she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated the guy, and
she was 13.
And look, she was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
And she's talked about it. She's talked about it.
Oh,
now she's an adult.
So crazy.
I don't believe this. I mean, not at 13. Not for these 13-year-old party girls out there.
Oh my.
Really?
13-year-old party girls. What the fuck is wrong with him?
I told you, bro. He's in on it.
There's an entire thread that's kind of been squashed in that film, and that's the two men that are throughout the movie that are constantly in the background of the film, who eventually, in the final shots of the film, you see like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in that final scene in the toy store when she's looking at the Rosemary's Baby bassinet, which is totally Kubrick saying something, and they never take their eyes off their daughter until the moment they take their eyes off and the final line of the movie is coming up. You see those two guys walking off with the daughter. They're taking her away. They've given their daughter to the pet cult. That's what's happened at the end of the movie. And there's an incident where when they first screened the movie in England, people who were outside, this is all secondhand, by the way. There were people who were outside of the theater who could hear inside of the theater Kubrick yelling at all the executives and saying, "It's my movie, you can't cut it. You can't fucking cut my film, blah, 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 blah." Big argument going on. Then he dies like 4 days later.
Fucking hell. Maybe they did take him out.
They did, bro. He wouldn't accept them changing the film.
I think the implication at the end of the film is they have to trade their daughter temporarily to save their lives, which we see that these other horrible people in the film have done. When he goes back to the place where the party was, he's given a note that said, "Give up your inquiries, which were completely useless, and consider these words a second warning. We hope for your own good that this will be sufficient." I don't think this is originally what the letter was supposed to say. This whole thing looks like a pickup shot, which it would be normally because you don't necessarily have to have Tom Cruise in here, but it looks a little bit different than the other shots. And they already gave him a warning. They threatened him and his family, and they were about to essay him in front of everybody. If anything, the threat is going to escalate next time. But this note is so gentle-handed. It's just, please stop, we've already warned you. And also after he reads this letter, he stares off shocked for a very long time. Why would you stare off shocked if the letter just asked you politely a second time to stop inquiring about it? And also look at the framing. He's between bars right now. It's almost as if they have him trapped. I think the letter actually said something different originally, and this is a reshoot. I think that originally the paper told him that he either had to trade his wife or his daughter for what he had done. And this would make sense why she says we should be grateful that we still have our lives.
That does make a lot more sense. But surely the cast would have known they changed the film.
Come on, bro. Tom Cruise is in a cult. He was involved in the cover-up.
Scientology. While it's officially recognized as a religion in the US and the UK, countries like France and Germany classify it as a cult. Tom Cruise is the most recognizable face of Scientology, but the theories don't point to him. They focus on Vivian Kubrick, the filmmaker's youngest daughter. She worked closely with her father, filming behind-the-scenes footage for his movies. She also joined the crew of Eyes Wide Shut, but around that time, she got involved with the church. Soon after, she walked away. Not just from the production, but from her family too. Kubrick reportedly wrote her a 40-page letter asking her to come back, not just to the film, but to his life. She never did. Vivian's case led to a new wave of theories. Some believe Kubrick used Eyes Wide Shut to expose questionable practices within Scientology.
Even if Tom Cruise was involved in a cover-up, what about Nicole Kidman?
Come on, bro. She was born into a cult.
People are allegedly linking Nicole Kidman's father with a cult that operated in Australia. And in around 2014, a lady in Australia named Fiona Barnett would come forward with some pretty heinous allegations. These allegations basically said that allegedly Anthony Kidman had run or been a part of a certain type of ring, if you catch my drift. She would later do some interviews where she would describe this as more ritualistic in nature, if you catch my drift. He even alleged that Nicole Kidman was present for some of these happenings. Ironically enough, in the same year that these heinous allegations came out, Anthony Kidman would flee Australia and go to Singapore. It's been said that his sister lived in Singapore and it had nothing to do with the allegations, but the timing is peculiar to say the least. Icing on the cake is this is the same Nicole Kidman who played one of the starring roles in Eyes Wide Shut, which again is about a man who stumbles across a secret society. Hello. Nicole Kidman also happened to be married to Tom Cruise, who is giant in Scientology. Hello. This is the same Nicole Kidman who would later on become a brand ambassador for Balenciaga, even after the scandal. Hello?
I don't know, Ted. They're involved in this shit. Why would they be in a film exposing it?
It's the revelation of method, bro. They have to tell us.
Revelation of method. The idea is that those who engage in evil must tell you that they are engaging in evil. The theory is that those who do conspiracies must tell you they're doing conspiracies. And there are 3 reasons why, okay? So let's go over them. The first reason is the idea of learned helplessness. And so the idea is, okay, let's just say that everyone knows that they did this, right? We get angry. We write emails. We make YouTube videos. Then what? Nothing, right? So the idea of learned helplessness is like the more angry you get, the more helpless you feel, and therefore the more obedient you become. Okay? That's the first reason. Second reason is the idea of karmic responsibility. And the idea is that the people in power are extremely superstitious. They believe that when they die, God will judge them. Okay? So we're all dead, and God says to the government, hey, why did you do all this evil stuff? And the government says, no, I did not act alone. Everyone participated. Why? Because I told them what I was doing. They didn't stop me. They didn't raise any concerns, they didn't protest. Therefore, they are complicit. It's not because you are ignorant or stupid. It's because you are complicit. It's because you are involved. Therefore, you share the guilt. Therefore, the karma is spread to everyone.
That seems a bit far-fetched.
Come on, bro. Look at everything that's going on in the world.
It's being alleged that a 9-year-old victim in this case was basically sold by their parents to be abused. It's being alleged in this Diddy case that this 9-year-old's parents agreed to trade him for a record contract, and he was passed around the studio to multiple people. Because everyone's acting all surprised about this, people have been talking about this for decades. But the people who would talk about this were labeled as crazy and conspiracy theorists. And that's one of the ways that these things operate so well, is because the general populace doesn't want to accept it, so they won't even hear that they exist. But most people don't want to accept the truth. They'd rather keep their eyes wide shut. While this seems far-fetched, this does unfortunately happen. There are several reports over the decades, and ones that have come out more recently, talking about how parents have knowingly sold their children to be abused in order to get jobs in the entertainment industry. And it goes beyond that. People will sell their children for different reasons. Even looking back at 120 Days of Sodom, that story was written in the 1700s, and it was about the exact same thing. These rich elites who are bringing in people and systematically abusing them inside of these mansions that they occupy. And it's something that people don't want to talk about now, and they certainly didn't want to talk about it back in 1999.
I told you, bro. It's been happening for generations.
It's just hard to believe anyone could do that.
It happens all over the world, bro.
The story of Teresa is a story almost too horrible to recount. A case of child abuse that goes well beyond the kind of things we normally associate with the abuse of children. Teresa is now 15, but at the age of 2, she was left in the care of this woman, the grandma she called Nan. And that, she says, is when her torment started.
They killed a man at a ceremony?
Yeah.
In front of you?
Yeah, in front of all of us.
Your Nan made you have with animals?
Yeah. Like goats and donkeys.
How do those children know? How do those children able to describe rituals, to talk about ceremonies, to talk about sacrificing animals? How do those children know?
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil? About Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil. According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
It was big, expensive. From the front it looked like a castle. It had a long drive and...
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
That's fucking horrible.
They're all Satanists, bro.
I'm starting to think you're right.
Luciferians cast a spell on the world. And
For real?
Oh, absolutely. It's just like how vampires can't go into a house unless they're invited. They tell you, what's going on ahead of time. It's predictive programming. And once you say it out loud and you put it out there and make fun of it and do a little skit like Stephen Colbert did a little skit on his show where, oh, here's a baby. I'm going to take this baby and I'm going to give it to Moloch. And he goes into like a cloudy red, furnace and hands the baby over. And he's, oh, the baby's going to be fine. And they make a joke about it and the audience laughs. Okay, we're all now conditioned to it. We've all seen it. And by laughing at it, we were complicit.
You think that's on purpose, that this is like some sort of a grand design to get us to be desensitized to the idea of demons eating babies?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
For sure. And by the way, nobody's doing anything about it. We know what's happening.
But that has to take, there has to be a person or some group of people.
Yeah, like about 8,500 people. Yeah.
That are manipulating the Colbert Show?
They're manipulating everything. It's all an illusion. Like, reality as we know it is fake.
See, the thing about the emails is, one of the things is it's just stuff written down. And so that's sort of hard to digest. Like, what is this? Like, what are they saying? Like, some of it is in code, like walking over beef jerky, like talking about jerky. Could you walk beef jerky over to this person? Like, what does that mean?
For all this pizza they're talking about, you never see any pizza.
Right.
It's absolutely a code. And in fact, mundus vult decipi, ergo decipiatur. It's a long-known concept. And so in Latin, mundus vult decipi means the world wants to be deceived. Ergo decipiatur, therefore it is. We want to be deceived. We don't want to believe the horrors that are actually behind the veil.
That's why no one's doing anything about it, bro. They don't want to admit it's real.
Well, ignorance is bliss.
The Epstein files have been released, and all of y'all are acting normal. All of y'all are acting normal.
But really constipated. That man done lost their goddamn mind.
Airport is acting normal.
Everybody's calling.
No, you shut the fuck up.
Wait, don't say nothing.
Because the Epstein files, what I'm reading, and everybody in this room can read. If you go to Google right now, everybody in this room can read. They are eating babies. They are trafficking children. And if you think for a second any fucking thing in your life matters.
Everyone's looking at him like he's crazy. But maybe everyone else is crazy for choosing to ignore the fact that pedophiles run the world.
He's the only sane one in the room, bro. It's social engineering. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Hold up, so we've got to do the giveaway.
Leave a comment for a chance to win in our next episode. Let's do this, bro.
Bang bang!
Blah blah.
Contact us on our website to claim your prize.
That's TerraTedsTales.com. The show's 2-year anniversary is coming up, bro.
Yeah, we're coming up to 200k subs. We got to do something special.
If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, bro?
And as always, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.